Hey everyone, Mack Story here today to talk with you about Change Happens, Chapter 4. And Chapter 4 is about resisting change. So I'm going to tell you a story about someone who was resisting change during those 11,000 hours that I was leading change through blue-collar industries. This particular story, there was a top-level leader told me about Pat. And Pat's not her real name, but it's the name I use in the book. And I'm going to give you as much as I can give you about this short story in 3 minutes. So I need to get busy telling you the story. So this leader says, you need to get Pat on one of your teams. And at the time I was taking around 20 people through 1 week, what I called a lean leadership certification. About 75–80% of the week was spent on leadership development, personal growth, stuff like we're talking about here in the Change Happens book and stuff that's in my other blue collar leadership series books, those principles. And about 20%, 15%, 25%, somewhere in that range was about lean tools. But most of the class was about leadership development, personal growth, helping people change the way they think so that they would embrace all the change that was coming, so they'd be part of the solution and not part of the problem. So I was told, Pat needs to be on your team. So I went and met Pat. She was the nicest lady that you would ever meet. And I remember now she's just a sweet older lady. And so I went and met her. We had a good conversation. And then they put her on a team about 2 or 3 weeks later. And that morning Pat was like this. She was angry from the beginning to about the second or third day of the 5-day class. And when we went around on day 1 and introduced ourselves, Pat says, I think this company's BS, I think you're BS, and I think lean manufacturing is BS. And she didn't say BS. She used the full word. That word you're thinking. She said it out loud. And we went through the week. By Wednesday, teaching and growing and developing the people, she had changed her perspective completely. And she was no longer angry and resistant. She actually come in and she had a few tears that morning talking to the people. And then on Friday, we actually had a graduation. And a lot of the leaders and other former graduates of this program got to come in and listen to graduation. All of the 20 people in class got to speak individually about what they got out of the class. And it was awesome because Pat walked up, and she walked up with her head down, and we didn't know what she was going to say, and she kind of looked out at the crowd, and she says, you know, I come in Monday, and I said, Mack's BS, Lean's BS, this company is BS, and she still said she said the whole the word again. She wasn't using an abbreviation. And then she kind of looked out with pure humility and said, what I learned this week was I'm BS. And she turned around and went and sat down. She had to change the way she thought during that week. And that's what teaching, growing, and developing yourself around this content that's on my website, bluecollarleadership.com, specifically this book dealing with change, is how you get people to embrace change. You have to change the way they think. If they're resistant to change today, they're going to be resistant to change tomorrow unless you change the way they think. So I kind of went over my 3-minute mark here trying to get that story in. And if you really want to read it and get the nuggets from it and Ria's perspective as well, order the book. You can get it on Amazon or you can get it on the store here at bluecollarleadership.com. Talk to you next time.